Welcome to day 4 of our Bahamas basketball virtual camp. This is the advanced version. Today we'll be working on passing, and we're also going to put in a little bit of finishing. Again, if you guys are here, I want you to be able to do the beginners and the advanced version of each workout. That way you're getting in a lot of reps and a lot of different skills. So with this today, we're going to challenge you a little bit. It's going to be maybe some things that are new to you that you probably weren't taught before. So come in with an open mind and let's get to work. For today's first passing workout, we're going to start with outside hand pocket passes. So all the pocket passes, usually used off a screen. When you're coming off, usually there's a little pocket of space. So we want to be able to get there. We want to be able to bounce that ball right out of our pocket to our teammate. Okay? So right now, if you don't have a teammate to pass to, just pass against a wall or something that you could throw the ball against. I'm going to bring Dwight in so he can help me show you guys how this is done. So again, I have my footwork mat. This can help me with knowing my space. I can play with different angles so that I can know that I'm hitting the same spot every time, or I can practice hitting different spots. So what we're going to do right now, I'm going to take maybe 1 or 2 steps behind the mat. We want to dribble. He's passing with his left hand. I'll be passing with my right hand right now. So we'll be right here. I'm going to go. I'm going to take a step. I'm just going to bounce pass right off my dribble. And we'll go back. And he'll do the same. We'll go. We'll pop. Right out of it. Okay? One more time. Go. You can, like I said, you can play with your spaces. Go again. Good. Okay? So you can use something to mark your spaces on the floor so that you, like I said, you can play with different angles out of this. And if you want, you can start getting into it out of a full speed pass, or you can just keep it at a walking pace. All we're really worried about right now is the technique. So if you want to go fast, that's perfectly fine. If you want to go slow, that's also fine. If you want to get 10 to 20 reps with each arm, or you can go for time. So next up, we have our inside hand pocket passes. We just worked on our outside hand pocket passes, where we would pass there. This time we're going to use our inside hand. Okay? So right now I'm going to bring Dwight in again to help me show you guys how it's done. So with this, we're going to set up just like we did in our outside hand pocket passes. We're going to dribble with our outside hand. But this time I'll be passing with my left, he'll be passing with his right. Okay, so I'm going to dribble up. I'm just going to hit him with my inside hand. Just reset, then he'll do the same way, inside hand. Okay, one more time. Dribble, speed it up a little bit. We're going to make that pass. Alright, so this is a good way to get passes off in quick and tight spaces. Like I said, usually in a screen and roll situation. 10 to 20 reps each way, or you can go for time. Next up, we have our wrap passes. So with a wrap pass, we want to be able to get our fingers out to the side, nice and wide, extension on our arm, and we want to be able to wrap the ball around and be able to pass it. This is very important to have because usually if you pass this ball and it's like that, a defender with his hands out, he might be able to get his hand on it. We want to be able to get it around him and pass it under his armpit so that he can't get to it. Usually this pass, your fingers up, it's stolen. Pass it around like this, gets to your teammate. All right, especially this pass comes in very handy when you need to make a baseline pass and get the ball outside the baseline and hit your teammate in the corner or somewhere along that baseline. So right now I'm going to bring Dwight in again to show you how we're going to do this. So with this, you can start either with no dribbles, or you can start it off the dribble. For if you're really good at it, I would encourage you to start it off the dribble. So me and Dwight will be facing each other right now. Gonna be nice and wide on our feet. Gonna be low. Gonna dribble with the right hand. Wrap, pass. Do the same. You wrap it, pass it. Same thing with the left hand. Dribble, pull into that pocket, wrap. Same thing right, and you pass, okay? When we do this, we want to make sure we try to extend it out as far as we could, okay? Get it around, be able to get outside your defender so that you can make that pass to him. As I was saying before, if Dwight is playing with his hands up, I want to be able to get here and wrap under his arm. A lot of times, like I said, if you go with your fingers up and he has his hands up, go here, I might end up passing right into his hand, and I can't control that ball very well. Even if I can get under him, he might be able to get his hand there and close that space, okay? So I want to be able to get around and reach through, okay? 10 to 20 reps each arm, or you can go for time. Next, we have our behind the back passes. We're going to couple in our behind the back chest passes and our behind the back bounce passes. So I know a lot of times coaches tell you, don't throw that pass, it's a bad pass, but it's actually a pretty good skill to have. Sometimes you don't have space to make a pass from the front. Sometimes if a defender cuts you and you need to hit somebody in the corner, you might need to just go here and be able to get that pass off, okay? If you practice anything enough, you'll be good at it. So if you can make that pass 10 out of 10 times, I don't see why it's considered a bad pass. Some of the best players in the NBA do it. Some of the best players in FIBA basketball do it. It's because you need these things. Basketball, again, is a game of space. So if I don't have space to pass through the front, I gotta be able to pass from behind. Okay, or maybe even overhead if you get in too soon. So again, I'm gonna bring Dwight in so he can show you how it's done. Right now, he'll be passing with his left, I'll be passing with my right. We're going to be both parallel. Got our mat to help us with our space, and we're just going to go behind the back chest passes, and then we're going to go behind the back bounce passes, okay? So we're going to go, and we could go off the dribble again if you're good. So I can be here, my stance, and just hit them like this. You can go, you can do the same. Or we can go into a bounce pass. Go here. Okay. Hit them. You can do the same. Okay? 10 to 20 reps chest pass, 10 to 20 reps bounce pass. Or you can go for time. Make sure you get both hands, obviously. Lastly, for our passing segment, we got our hook pass. So a hook pass is just being able to bring the ball off our dribble with one hand and hook it over our head. Usually this is good for when you got a shooter in the corner or on the wing, because sometimes you don't have enough time to be able to dribble, pick it up with two, step, and then pass. Sometimes you just got to be able to get the pass off quick. When the teammate is open, you got to be able to hit him. Those moments can be closed in a split second, so you got to be able to get it off as fast as you could sometimes. So right now, I'm going to bring Dwight in so he can help me show you guys how it's done. So we're going to set up just like we did with our behind the back passes. Again, if you're more advanced and this is easier for you, you can start doing it off the dribble. So we're going to go, we're just going to be nice and go. Hook it over here. You'll do the same. back. Then we'll go again, just to show you again. Hook it over the head. Okay? Again, 10 to 20 reps each way, or you can go for time. So for our last workout of the day, we're going to get into our 2-ball drives with outside hand finishes. If you don't have 2 balls, it's fine, just use one. Just make sure when you do it, you're dribbling with your outside hand. So if you're going from the right side, make sure you dribble with your right hand. If you go from the left, make sure you dribble with your left. We want to start this drill from the wings and attack. Okay, if you don't have a basket, just shoot a ghost layup, okay? So right now we're not focusing on jumping off the quote-unquote right foot, okay? We want to jump off whichever foot is best for that space. So you can use something to mark your space, which I would like you to do. Again, I have my footwork mat. So as we go, we're going to start on our wing. Obviously, I'm not on the wing right now because I'm demonstrating, but we're going to start somewhere behind the mat, probably around the 3-point line. Going to alternate our dribbles. We're going to attack off this mat. As we attack, whichever foot is on the mat, we want to jump off of that foot. So if my right foot ends up on the mat, I want to jump and finish with that outside hand. So we want to play with our space a little bit with this too. So we attack. If I get this inside foot on the mat, I want to jump off my inside foot. Okay, so what we don't want to happen, we don't want you to think too much about, I'm supposed to jump off of this foot or I'm supposed to jump off of that foot. What usually happens with that, when players are taught like that, we usually end up coming here, we start to stutter our feet so that we can step and jump off of that right foot. Usually if you do that in the game, especially as you get older, you're going to get blocked. So you have to be able sometimes to finish off your first step or your second step or either foot. Okay, so right now we're just worrying about jumping in the correct space. Okay, so we're going to put your mat in a good space from the mat, from the basket, and wherever foot hits, that's where you jump. So if you don't have a mat, just mark it with, who cares, a shoe, whatever you want to mark it with. It's perfectly fine. Going to go for 10 to 20 makes each way. Make sure you're going right and left, or you can go for time. As a bonus for today's workout, we just worked on our outside hand finishes. We can do the same thing with our inside hand. So if we was coming from the right hand side, we would finish with our left hand. If we was coming from the left hand side, we would finish with our right hand. You would still be dribbling with your outside hand on this. So if I'm driving from the right wing, I would still dribble with my right hand. Left wing, still left hand. But if I have 2 balls, it'll be slightly different. So we're going back, just like we did before with our outside hand. Gonna alternate our dribbles. Whichever foot ends up on the mat, that's what foot we want to jump off, okay? So if I'm coming from the right wing, I'm now going my left hand, I would finish left. Come there, and step on with my right, still finishing with my left hand, okay? So sometimes inside hand finishes are a good thing, depending on where the defense is, or if maybe sometimes when you get in front of the defender, you can use that rim as a protection, or you can just be able to get it away from defenders on your outside hand. You don't want to really lay up with your outside hand if you got a defender by that hand. He can just swat that away most times. Okay, so we have to be able to finish with both hands, outside and inside, on both sides of the basket. Okay, we're going to get 10 to 20 makes each way. So one thing I didn't mention with our two ball finishes is that we want to go underhand with this most times. Going overhand is too overly taut. Usually when you go overhand, you can't extend, you can't move the ball around. So when you play longer and athletic defenders, it'll be very hard for you to get your shot off at the rim. We want to be able to go underhand a lot of times so that we can go and extend past defenders, we can extend out and away from defenders so that we can get hook finishes, we can get finishes extending to the basket, and all types of different other finishes. So today, we worked on our passing, a lot of different advanced passes at that, and we also worked on our finishing, both inside and outside hand, and we worked on our two ball handling. Okay? So that concludes today's workout. We hope to see you again tomorrow for day 5.